Okay, so today we have Gary Numan and Cars, and I've listened, I've heard the start of the song, I would say, but I've never heard, the full, complete song. I don't know what the song is about, so that's what we're going to get into today. It is also very hot in my room. It's hot all over the world, pretty much, but we're going to continue, and if I melt, I apologize. But let's get into this today, talk about it after. Gary Numan, Cars. Fade out. All right. So, my gosh, Cars from Gary Numan. I mean, like I said at the top, I've heard, the start of the song, obviously. I mean, I think, just obviously have the, right off the bat when, I forgot about, I have to say up the top, my God, I don't know what to say first. The drum work in this is very, underrated in my opinion, right off the bat. I mean, even though I haven't listened to the song, but, it's obviously, so known for the synths, the keyboards, the freaking the sound, even though the song came out like 40 years ago, it still sounds like it's the future. I mean, it's just nuts. And just that, just get that spacey vibe. I mean, just, I don't know what new wave just what new wave does to me anyway. As I love new wave, and I don't know why I've never really listened to a synth pop master like freaking Gary Numan until now. But yeah, just I don't know. It's just I don't know where I was going with all that, but just a great song. Obviously, I mean, just gigantic synthesizers, and just how he starts off the song, and yeah, the drum work I wanted to say as well, which also caught my attention, and the tambourine as well. Like I said during the song, oh, a tambourine. So yeah, I just love everything that's going on here, and Gary Numan. His voice is so like he has an abrupt delivery, at least for this song. It's just like here in my car, da 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 da. It's just like I don't know. It's a weird kind of a thing, but it's great though. It's just I love the the melody, just how he's delivering his his cadence, his voice. Obviously, it's just something you'd never heard before. And I can imagine coming out in 1979. This came out in August 1979. I don't think there's anything like this that was really around. I know, keyboards and such were used. One of my favorite bands is the Cars. A song like Moving in Stereo sounded a little different, which is one of my favorite Cars song, which is, funny because this song is called Cars. But anyway, but this song, Gary just went full on, just, this is just nuts. And especially, yeah, like I was saying, this coming out in 1979, I can't imagine that somebody had heard anything like this before. I can't imagine, hearing this for the first time, like, whoa, this is new. So yeah, I just wanted to say the credits here, obviously. So Gary Numan, obviously, on vocals, production, keyboards, synthetic, and percussion, it says. And then Paul Gardner on bass guitar, and then Chris Payne on keyboards as well, and Cedric Sharpley on drums and tambourine. So I have to say, shout out to everyone, obviously, as well as Gary Numan, but Cedric, either way, Sharpley on the drums and tambourine here. I thought he was unmissable as well. I really enjoyed his fills and such, and just liked his guitar, his drum work as well. But obviously, Gary Numan's the star of the show. I mean, that it's from a different world. The song just seemed like it's from a different world, and yeah, again, it just seems like it's still the future. And it just just blows your socks off. I mean, my gosh. So anyway, like I usually am, I'm on genius.com and the about of the song, and just to give some information and such. So I don't think there's anything else I really have to say. Just this is just, I mean, listening to it fully for the first time in my life, with headphones on too. It's just what an experience you get. It's just like, and when how the song starts off again with the keyboards or whatever, and then how it comes in again in the middle of the song or whatever, he cuts back to it, and it's just like, it's just, I don't know, you're just taken away again. It's just like, my God. Anyway, hopefully I'm explaining it good enough. Anyway, if I could talk. So anyway, it says here, Gary Numan went the whole hog and created a purely electronic debut solo album, ditching any traces of his punk past and cementing his place as one of England's newest genuine superstars, a status that proved to be short-lived in hindsight, with the commercial success of The Pleasure Principle and his most memorable single, Cars, both of which topped the UK album and singles charts respectively. That was a long sentence. In September 1979, in the US, Cars reached number 9 in the summer of 1980. Numan was inspired to write Cars after an incident that happened while he was driving. And also, I did see this on in the YouTube comments as well. And yeah, I just like how, what he says. So a couple of blokes started peering in the window, and for whatever reason, they took a dislike to me. So I had to take evasive action. I swerved up onto the pavement, scattering pedestrians everywhere. After that, I began to see the car as a tank of modern society. And then there's also as well, it says he has had dozens of further hits in the UK, but none others in the US, earning him the label of a one-hit wonder there. When asked if this bothers him, he responded, in a way it does, but you have to be realistic. Better to have had one than none. I mean, yeah, that's a really good way to look at it. It goes on, it's been covered by many people. And, and he has said, what do you think about people, expressing, the love and appreciation for the song? He said, I'm so totally blown away with it, and it leaves a big grin on my face every time I hear that someone's done something like that to it. So it's not as if I'm kind of arrogantly expecting it, quite the opposite. So, again, just how people have, gone on to, love the song as well. And, I mean, again, it's just such, like I said off the top, I don't know how to explain, because again, with how this synth pop, new wave and everything, he just went, just like it said off the top, full hog or whatever. However that explained it, whoever wrote that in on Genius. But yeah, he just went all the way with synth pop, and I guess I'd like to hear some of his punk stuff, because again, punk and new wave, they're kind of one, they intertwine with each other as well. And two of my favorite genres. But yeah, anyway, it's just such a huge song. And I mean, it's just what it did, obviously changed music for a while there. And I mean, like it said, he became a big star, although it was kind of short lived. But I mean, better to have been somebody than nobody, kind of like he said. But anyway, just looking at some of the lyrics here, again, like I said, I just love how, his cadence and everything, here in my car, I feel safest of all. I can lock all my doors. It's the only way to live in cars. Here in my car, I can only receive. I can listen to you. It keeps me stable for days in cars. And then, there are some annotations here. So it says, according to Gary, the song's lyrics were inspired by an incident of road rage, which also it said down below that somebody, I guess, people didn't like him or whatever, so I guess this might be a different interpretation or something. But anyway, apparently this is a quote from the man. I was in traffic in London once and I had a problem with some people in front. They tried to beat me up and get me out of the car. I locked the doors and eventually drove up on the pavement and got away from them. So basically it's the same story. It's kind of to do with that. It explains how you can feel safe inside a car. In the modern world, when you're in it, your whole mentality is different. It's like your own personal empire with four wheels on it. I just love, yeah, because I mean, as somebody, who's had, I'm sure everybody's had some kind of, incident of road rage or something, and you're just in the car, and then especially if someone's come up to you. I mean, that's happened to me. Somebody's come up to the window and says, "What are you doing?" And then you kind of forget, like, oh crap, you're not in your own little world in the car anymore. Yeah, so that's kind of scary. But yeah, so I just like, that interpretation, because it's so relatable to, so many people probably who've had, road rage or whatever, who've had, somebody, maybe you lock your door and you try to get away from somebody. I know, especially that's happened as well, where you try to get away from somebody and you can because you're in a car, and they're not. So that always works. But also it goes on here, one more paragraph for the annotation. However, the song is about isolation, using the car as a situation as a metaphor. Numan talks about locking himself away and how it makes him feel safe, gives him time to himself and time to think. But at the same time, his constant isolation makes him feel miserable. So I mean, yeah, there's that, that kind of, catch-22 situation or whatever. Just the whole thing of, here in my car, and then he goes on with the second verse, the last verse, where the image breaks down. Will you visit me, please? So if I open my door in cars, here in my car, I know I've started to think about leaving tonight, although nothing seems right in cars. So even, as it says here for the annotation, which I think it's good, so I should read it. Eventually, after all of your isolation, you start to think too much and your thoughts turn in a direction where they really have no business being, such as depression, suicide, etc. And it goes on. And I mean, yeah, that whole thing of, being in a car and, it feels nice and everything, like it said, you get time away, you get your alone time, but also you might start to have some bad thoughts or whatever. You might start to, your brain might start to go different places than, you want it to when you're alone in the car all the time or whatever. And I mean, yeah, that's what, it's always nice to go on car drives or whatever, listen to music, loudly, or just, to go for a car, especially a drive at night when nobody's really out. And so that's very nice to have. But also, the cars, as I said, it's like a tank or whatever Gary Numan said, that, in the modern world. And I mean, you can do a lot of things with a car, and that also could lead to death and everything. So I mean, that comes to mind as well. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I just like how, even though it sounds so upbeat and so, just like, so space agey, whatever, there is still that isolation thing that he's talking about. And this song is just nuts. It's just, what a what a listen, what a backstory. And the whole thing again about, road rage and, getting away from people. It's just like, what a time to be alive. I mean, my God, we're lucky to have cars, aren't we? Anyway, I guess that's all I gotta really say. I mean, this was a great introduction to Gary Numan, and finally listen to a song like this. I'm happy I did. I also wanted to say, if you're still here, since people want me to react to Kraftwerk, I was wondering because I know some of their songs are obviously German. I don't know if I should react to Kraftwerk in German or in the English version because I see that some of their songs are in English versions as well and everything. So anyway, if you're still here, you can give me your opinion on that as well because I would like to listen to Kraftwerk, but I don't really know how to go about it, I guess I'm saying. So if you wanted to say anything about that, you can go ahead because I know a song like Das Model and then The Model, there's two different versions, the German and then the English. It's like, which one should I listen to, basically? So anyway, since that kind of goes along with, this kind of music as well, I thought I'd ask here at the end. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. I'm going to go now and wipe my eyes because I'm sweating. But anyway, thanks again for watching, all the support. Really appreciate it. And I will talk to you folks again soon.